few everyone's joined, so we'll get started. So let's begin by just Sarah and Arthur, if you're able to introduce yourselves, what you study here at DLD, and where you're from.
Hello. Hello, my name is Sarah and I'm from Tunisia. I study math, physics, and computer science.
Hello guys, my name is Arthur and I'm from China, Beijing. I study math, economics, and politics, and I'm also a year 12 student.
Fantastic, fantastic. And can you just tell us a little bit about, as I say, the subjects that you study, and how you find the teaching here at DLD?
So, the subjects I study are quite complicated. When I first joined, I was a bit struggling, but straight away the teachers were kind and helped me catch up on what I didn't know, especially since in my old school we did a different exam board, so the questions were a bit different. So very quickly they were able to help me adjust and perform to the best of my abilities.
And for me, I've been in UK for almost 5 years. And so I did my GCSEs and I did my key stages all in UK. I found it really challenging at first when it's a really big step up between GCSEs and A levels. Uh, but, luckily, I take math and economics both in GCSE, so it is less challenging. But when it comes to politics, there's a lot of remembering and there's a lot of key terminologies to remember. However, I think my teachers are very supportive and they're very professional. And the way we study is very interesting as well. Since we're in the center of London and we're studying UK politics, we have a lot of chances to visit the Parliament and the Supreme Court to have a better understanding of how the government works.
Yeah, thanks. And on that, London is a really big part of how students learn here at DLD. Our year nine students, for instance, will go out on weekly school trips into London. So it's really that sort of experiential learning. I think a lot of other schools have to battle through traffic and things like that to get to some of the sites. Whereas because we're bang in the centre of London, we can walk to the National Gallery or we can go to Kew Gardens, the Tower of London, and still be back for lunch, and students can carry on with their studies. So that's really good. And the point that Arthur made about being right opposite Houses of Parliament, great for kind of politics classes. We also have our graduation near there as well, and some of the borders have some fantastic views as well, of the London landmarks. So guys, kind of again, just kind of touching on that, what were the reasons that you decided to come and study at DLD?
Well, in my opinion, the main reason I came to DLD was because it's located at the heart of London. Therefore, we have access to a lot of things. I really enjoy playing football. So since we're in London, I was easily able to find a club I could join to play football. And it also opened a lot of opportunities to discover new things.
And for me, in my old school, it was a very it's located really outside of the cities. The most civilized part near our school is a small town called Shrewsbury. So we're in the West Midlands. And for me, I believe that education is a path gradually preparing you to be entering the society. And I feel like after the GCSE, where I need to be focused and really strictly managed by teachers to get the best grades I can. When I moved to A levels with the freeze I got, I think it's a better choice to move to a more city-centered and more busy area that I can experience more.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Sarah raised a really good point with the sports side of things because we do offer some sport at DLD, do some clubs and things like that. But because we're obviously a city centre location, it's a great opportunity that you can go and still do all the other sports that you want. You're not kind of tied into playing for our specific sports teams. You get to go off and carry on kind of with, as I say, other clubs around London, or ones that you're already part of as well. So it's a best of both worlds in that sense. Um, how does DLD compare to previous schools you've both studied at?
Compared to my old school, I would say DLD has a really pretty building. The classes are really spacious and the amount of students are quite small, so we can have a lot of one-on-one interactions with the teachers, which I think that's really great, especially example physics is quite hard. So I feel like I'm really well supported.
And for me, as I've said earlier, that I used to be in a campus school, a very large campus. We used to have three football pitches and like those professional football pitches. And but compared to DLD, I feel like the facilities are more modernized and uh every day. Like for example, we're both boarding students. In my old school, our boarding rooms are like four beds in a room, so we barely have any our own privacy. But right now, every student have their own separate rooms and their own separate toilet, which is I believe one of the best facilities that we have in like UK. And another thing that's really very interesting to me and attractive to me for this school is that the school gives you a lot of freedom. So, for example, us as lower six former students, we have a lot of free time and we have a lot of free subjects if we only take three. Then we can use these free times to go out in London or take it, like, for example, to use as self-revision or find teachers for clinics. It is all your own choice and it gives a lot of freedom.
Moreover, there's really good food. Compared to my old school, a big problem was that the food wasn't the best. But surprisingly, in DLD, the food is amazing. As a boarder, I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they're all amazing.
Yeah, the food is a big part of DLD because we've got such a diverse school community. We've got, I think it's something like 56 different nationalities. We use food as a way of sort of celebrating that. So when it's Easter, it'll be a rack of lamb. When it's Chinese New Year, it'll be a Chinese buffet. Christmas dinner. So really try and use kind of food creatively to make everyone feel at home, and cater for everyone's different dietary requirements and tastes. Um, you touched upon kind of the boarding facilities, and obviously they are all sort of private rooms, less of a sort of dormitory vibe. Can you tell us a little bit more about boarding here at DLD and what your experiences are like?
Boarding has been really nice. We have after school activities during the weekend and after school, where we would every weekend do something new. Sometimes it might be movies or playing some video games in the atrium. Also, we have our house parents. We, if we have any issues, we can always go to them to ask them. They support us if we have any problems with our rooms. We can always go talk to them, and they do their best to help us achieve what we want. And
Yeah. Our boarding house parents are very chill and are very interactive with us. And if you're a fan of football or anything like that, during the Premier League season, we will always have the football displayed on the big screen in our atrium. And every weekend there'll just be like 20 students sitting on the sofa on the beanbags watching the football. And it's very good environment. I believe it's really relaxing, and I feel really safe and I feel really comfortable talking to all my house parents because I always get the support I needed whenever I need something, and I feel safe and I feel trusted.
Yeah, perfect. And we should say with the boarding as well, it is directly above the school. So it's the commute is literally 30 seconds in a lift straight down, and you're on the ground floor. So it's super easy for our students. It's also super safe as well because it means that students are in, as I say, the same building as the school, not having to cross any roads or anything like that. And as I say, we've got a fantastic kind of pastoral support team here at DLD, as well as obviously the boarding team that kind of keep track of what students are doing and can support, as Sarah was saying. Um, so on that, obviously London is a huge city. How do you guys feel kind of living and studying in London? Do you feel safe? Do you feel supported?
so when I first moved to London, I came from a really small country, Tunisia. So we didn't really have a lot of transportation, like the tube or the train. So I was really nervous at first. But once I tried it, I used the tube to go to my football training. I realized that it's actually really safe. There's really clear instructions on how to travel around the UK, like London more specifically. And I haven't had any issues so far. Like I've been feeling really safe, especially at night. I can go to example Covent Garden, no problem, without feeling unsafe.
Well, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I often travel to the Emirates Stadium, which is in the outskirts more of London. And obviously, our school is located in the most centered part of London, right next to the Westminster Bridge, and the you can see the Big Ben and you see the London Eye. And it's a big city, so obviously there is gonna be dangerous things or unpleasant things happening once in a while around London. You can't prevent that. But what the school really does for us is that we have police officers coming into the school giving us talks of how to prevent us being putting ourselves at risk and how to protect us. Or, for example, for lower year groups, which are year 8, 9, 10, and 11, they're forced to go out as a three. So, whatever happens, people can take care of each other in a group of three. And I believe that most parts when we go, like when the school takes us to trips, for example, econ trips to the Bank of England or politics trips, it is safe and it's nice and nothing really big happens. I believe, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, guys. I think one of, as we kind of mentioned, one of the benefits of being bang in the center of London is that ability to go and explore, and it's something that the school does encourage. It encourages students to make the most of all the opportunities that are on our doorstep. So whether that's, as I say, the fun side where you get to go off and watch the football, whether that's going to museums, whether that's going to art galleries, or whether that's just enjoying the sort of London lifestyle, some of the great kind of restaurants and cafes we have nearby as well. As I say, it is a really sort of safe environment, and there's a lot of support provided by staff to ensure kind of student safety. Um, we're getting through the questions really well. Just a reminder that if you do have any questions or anything pops into your mind, do use the chat functionality as well. Just type out a question and I'll make sure we kind of pick that up and put those to Sarah and Arthur. Um, so moving on, was there anything that you guys were worried about before you came to DLD, and how did DLD kind of support you to kind of overcome that and make you feel better about that?
Well, honestly, I thought that I wasn't gonna be able to catch up with my studies. I did come a week late. However, the teachers were there. They provided us with clinics, after school support, and they're always open to questions, so that really helped me specifically.
Yeah, for me, with I applied to DLD completely myself, and one of the biggest worries I had is that since I transformed from a school with such strict policies and time schedules, and after I go to DLD, how would I like keep up with my studies as also like a really big thing. But um, at first, when I came here, I'll be honest with you, my grades weren't really ideal. But fast enough, I was able to catch up because whenever I have a problem, teachers are always free to help and assist you, even if it's not your subject teachers and or even if it's like doing very late times, they'll always respond to you and message you back and give you support. Another thing that I'm really worried about, like even doing DLD or like especially like this term, is that since our school has an amazing alternative choice than A levels is IFP, and I was worried that in when I proceed to next year doing A level content, I might struggle or I might be find it hard to catch up and maintain my grades. So I was worried and I was thinking that I might transfer to IFP, but uh my housemaster, my subject teachers and my tutors, they all encouraged me and supported me mentally, saying that I'm capable of doing A levels if I keep my efforts in and they see potential in me, so which really encouraged me a lot.
Definitely. And the fact that you're both sat here as heads of the school as well kind of shows that obviously, your worries you've been able to overcome because obviously you've done really, really well. Um, can you talk a little bit about the different clubs or CCAs, co-curricular activities we call them at DLD? Can you tell us a little bit about those that are on offer at DLD, any that you guys get involved in?
So there's a really wide range of after-school activities, mainly sports, esports, arts. There's a really wide range. So personally, I'm in the esports team. Pretty sure Arthur is
Yeah,
as
I'm also
well.
she's
So
my captain.
yeah, I'm the captain of the esports team. So there's a wide range of games. So we do Valorant. So every week we would play against other schools, communicate with them. We would set up the games, and it lasted for 3 terms. We did pretty well. And also, if the students want to create their own after school activity, they can. So if you see around, you can see posters of students promoting their activities like the Poet Society,
Yeah, and
and there's a
then
lot of those.
yeah, and then there's also like students can create like Inside Society where they invite famous speakers and businessmen to come to the school and give us lectures. And just to add on the esport, we have a lot of games actually for both designed both for kids under students under the age of 16 and above. So we also have Rocket League and we have League of Legends and we have like Marvel something. Yeah, Marvels. And the sport, I would say that we have sports like football team and we have basketball team. And we're also aiming to set up the badminton and table tennis team next year and to communicate more with other schools.
Yeah, exactly. We at the start of each year will run we call it a CCA fair down in the atrium, and that's where students can sign up to any of the clubs that we have on offer. Students usually have to sign up to at least two throughout the academic year. Um, but as the guys were saying, if there's a club that you want that doesn't exist, providing there's enough students that want to take part in it, we can get that set up. We've had well over kind of 60 clubs in the time that I've been here at DLD. So I think, there's a huge variety. Um, and again, as they're saying, in terms of esports, that's one of the really cool things at DLD. It's a really unique offer. There aren't too many schools that are offering that, not only as a club, but also as a qualification as well. So students can get a BTEC in esports. It's not solely about gaming. There's a business element to that where they create kind of the brand and business plan and things like that. So that's really exciting. But yeah, you guys compete against other schools, don't you, in terms of the game? So it creates that sort of that healthy competition. It's all about building dexterity, digital IT skills, as well as kind of teamwork, and is a really inclusive sport that anyone can play. So yeah, one of the cool things. Definitely, if you get a chance to do a tour at DLD or want to come and visit, that's usually one of the highlights because we sort of a dedicated space, custom design, and the team's called DLD Dragons. So it's got all of the decals and things like that on the wall. Um, Now, as we kind of finish up, guys, what would your advice be to any kind of students that are potentially looking to come and study at DLD? What would your advice be to them?
My advice would be that you have to find the perfect balance between studies and enjoying yourself. Even though studying is important, you should enjoy living in London, especially since time goes by really fast. It felt like yesterday when I first came here, and honestly, it's really nice.
Yeah, for me, I would agree with her. So DLD is in the middle of London, so obviously don't just use all the time just to studying because that'd be a waste of your most happy 2 years of your life. For me, I really have like strict rules for myself. Like I would study alone and call it prep time because that's what my old school does every day from 6 to 8. And also, I would say that it's a really good thing that I believe that if you choose the school, you will settle in really fast, and all the thoughts that might worry you before you enter the school will very fast disappear because how welcoming our student body is and how supportive our staff member team is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. On that, there's a lot of work that goes into students when they start at DLD. What will happen is they'll get sorted into a house. So similar to kind of the Harry Potter sort of style. We have five houses here at DLD: Jubilee, Metropolitan, District, Northern, and Jubilee. And they all relate to a London Underground line that runs near the school. And so throughout the academic year, students in those houses will compete against each other. Again, that friendly competition, whether that's in academic competitions, whether that's sports related, or whether that's kind of fundraising and just some fun activities, for instance, pancake race and things like that at different times of the year. So it's a really good way of making friends across different year groups, building kind of friendships, and really kind of getting to know everyone. Because as I say, we have a really diverse community, so it's important that everyone binds together, and that mixes up the day students as well as the boarding students. So yeah, it's a really really nice community we have here. I haven't had any other questions come through for our heads of school, so they'll hang on for a little bit in case anything pops into anyone's mind. We are meant to have Hattie, who leads on admissions here at DLD. I know she was actually touring a parent with a student who is joining in September, so it may be that she's running a little bit late or delayed. But I'll run through a little bit about the admissions process for those that are potentially considering applying at DLD. It is designed to be as straightforward as possible. So what will happen is you'd have to complete an application form and include a copy of the kind of student's passport. This will include things like the latest school reports and evidence of students' ability study of the English language. The more information you can provide, the better. If there isn't any documentation with regards to English language assessment, then there will be, as I say, an assessment taken out, and I say our admissions team will be able to advise you on that. The next stage would be the interview process. So this generally is about 30 minutes, and this is undertaken with a member of the DoD leadership team. So it could be the principal or vice principals. And that's really an opportunity for the staff to get to know the student better. It's also an opportunity for the student to get to know the school better. It isn't a kind of a right or wrong sort of interview. It's really just about making sure that the school is the right fit for the student, and the student's going to settle in really well to school life and understand what it's about to be a student at DLD. After that, and if the interview is successful, an offer will be made, kind of with any conditions that are required. And then it is up to you guys to decide whether to accept that place. So there is an acceptance form that needs to be completed, and to pay the deposit, which I believe is £2,000 plus the acceptance fee. If you're looking to be a boarder like Sarah and Arthur, then again, you have to go through the accommodation process. As I say, kind of booking that, and we have a team again that can liaise to support you with that. And then it's down to things like visas, booking flights, and you'll be able to get enrolled. So, as I say, hopefully a straightforward process. We do have a really big team here at DLD. Uh, Team that's based internationally as well as in school. So if you are speaking to any of our sales team, they will be able to kind of support you. But if not, do email dld@dld.org, and we'll be able to direct kind of your inquiry or your question to the right person. Um, I'll just pause and just see if anyone has a question. I think one might have come in. So in terms of what nationalities dominate our school, so we don't actually have, I guess, a nationality that dominates aside from perhaps British. About 30%, 40% of our student body, it fluctuates year on year, is domestic based. So there'll be kind of majority day students that will come in. The rest, it's kind of international. So it's a real variety. As I say, I think it's about 56 different nationalities at the school. So yeah, as I say, a real mix. Sarah, Arthur, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the school community and what it's like.
So the community, honestly, everyone's really nice and welcoming. When I first came, so I speak French. In Tunisia, we speak a lot of French and Arabic. So I was easily able to find people who speak the same language as me, and we became really close friends. Also, everyone is nice. You would see a group of people from all kinds of nationalities hanging out together. So it's really open, which is really nice. It's really easy to make friends.
Yeah, and me personally, even like my friend group, consists. I have a lot of Chinese friends in this school, so it really kind of like eased my nerves when I came to this school at first. But then when I formed my own friend group with students my year, it is composed of Indian people, African people, and then Central Asian, so all kind of countries, and they're all really welcoming. So it's not a problem to make friends here. It's really easy and they're all new, so everybody's new from mostly from in year 12. So everyone will want to make friends with each other.
Definitely. And we actually ran our first alumni event for a long time the other day. So we had over 60 former students in attendance, and they had a drinks reception at the school and then went on a trip on the London Eye. It was actually really nice to see because a lot of them had kind of stayed friends. So it was about kind of reconnecting with some of the staff, or it was them, as I say, reconnecting with kind of their peers who they hadn't seen for a long time. So again, it does form some really, really good friendships. And even after a long time, as I say, they still like to kind of stay in touch and see what's going on in the school. Um, what help do we offer for university placements? Great question. Yeah. So we have at DLD, we have a Daniel who heads up he's our head of universities. And so he will kind of guide students or let students know about that university process. We'll run two university fairs, one focused on UK universities. There'll be about 40 that will come and visit the school. And then there'll be a second university event which focuses on international. So that's universities from America, Australia, and across Europe. Um, all students would then be uh, they will be given a UAT, a university admissions tutor, and that's a member of staff that will guide the student through the university application process. So if you're applying for a British university, that's UCAS. So again, it's supporting with things like the university, personal statement, references, and everything like that, and all of the key deadlines. So they kind of help kind of stay on top of that process. We do have a lot of resource on our website as well in terms of what UATs are, what they do, and some of the outcomes. So do have a look at that as well. It's also available kind of on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So do take a look. But yeah, in terms of the university support, there is a huge amount there. Our students go on to some really good universities. A lot of them will stick in London because they really like that London lifestyle, and there's some fantastic universities in London. King's, UCL, LSE, Queen Mary, University of the Arts London as well, are big ones. We do have students that go off to a lot of Russell Group universities. We do have Oxford and Cambridge occasionally as well as some leading international universities like Columbia, Parsons over in the States. Let me just see. Think that's all of our questions answered. We'll pause just for a second, just in case any others come through. Um, but in the meantime, was there any just to kind of close up, I guess, Sarah and Arthur, are you able just to, I guess, kind of share your final thoughts on DLD, and what you think your kind of lasting memories of the school are going to be?
Before I answer that question, I just want to add up to the university admissions one because you see how there's so many subjects that we took in year 12. For example, her subjects are more like engineering, computer science, and mine is more like politics, economics related, so essay subjects. We are assigned in different groups and we are allocated with students that have the similar subjects to help us and treat us with the most targeted and helpful way of advice. And talking about like my memories of DLD, I believe that unlike GCSE, it's like a 3 year like unlike my old school, I've been there for 3, 4 years, which is really long. I feel like it's really the time went really fast, right? And I can remember how the first day when I came to this school and when my parents went upstairs in my boarding house to help me tidy up and settle in. I believe that there's a lot of difficulties that we faced, challenges academically and socially, but the school is always supportive, and I believe that at the day when I leave the school and when I graduate, it probably will be the most memorable day of my life. And I will if there's gonna be like an annual alumni event, I'll be definitely coming back because yeah, hopefully my sister comes to the school as well when she's older.
For me, most memorable time was probably during the school trip. So we went to this fair during Christmas where there was a lot of pretty lights everywhere. It was really amazing, and I feel like that's might be the main key memory. Also, a lot of the events like International Day I wore my traditional Tunisian outfit, and it was so amazing to see so many people representing their culture. There was also the Christmas fair. See, all these events are very memorable to me now. And yeah, time really goes fast, but it shows that you're actually enjoying it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate your time today. So, as I mentioned at the start, the aim will be to get this webinar up on YouTube. Hopefully, it should be done for sort of the start of next week. Once I've kind of downloaded, and I'll edit it and make sure that it's kind of fit for purpose. So, if you did miss anything or you want to recap, you'll be able to kind of access that on there. I think that's all of our questions that we've had come through. So just want to say thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate your time. If you do think of any other questions, do follow up with a member of our team or drop us an email. I'll be more than happy to help. And finally, thank you very much to Sarah and Arthur for giving up your time today, just to kind of share your insights as students here at DLD. It's really appreciated. Brilliant.
Thanks
Thank you
very
very
much,
much,
Thank
everyone.
you,
everyone. Take
guys.
care.